I think, Faisal, you're making an excellent point, and it was one that was actually emphasized in the previous hour by Ambassador Theros from Qatar. And he wasn't talking about Qatar specifically, but about investing in rapidly growing and developing economies. He said that there is more risk, but it's risk that occurs by the nature of vibrant economies, but that if one manages the risk, the rewards and the returns are significantly higher than just staying in the domestic markets. And your example here of Colombia, same way. My advice to our listeners is to, get out of town, and you don't have to plunge into simultaneously Pakistan, Colombia, China all at once. But for certain, I think that the entrepreneurs have to start having a global mindset, and that right from the beginning, they need to understand, and this is one area where I really have great issue with American media, because I am very fortunate, traveled all over the world for business, still travel all over the world, and very rarely do the places I go look anything like the way they are portrayed when I come back home. And so I think that, you're describing a country that many of our listeners are probably saying, this doesn't sound like the Pakistan that I think I know, based on the sensationalization that I see in the news, where what only gets reported is the most exotic and the most negative, but rarely the things such as these new hospitals and medical facilities. This doesn't get good press because, it's not sensational. But I think the reality is that many of these places are far more developed, far more sophisticated, and very, very interested in Western business growth and products than most people would believe.
I agree with you, David. I mean, all the entrepreneurs, they need to realize that rewards come with risks. And in countries like Pakistan, doing business over there, there's a lot of opportunities, especially Pakistan. Very recently, it's considered as an energy corridor. Not recently. I mean, historically, Pakistan has always been considered as an energy corridor. But more recently, we are suffering from an energy shortage. We've got nearly 19,000 megawatts as an installed capacity, and we are in short of 6,000 megawatts. 40% of our energy is hydel, and 60% is nearly thermal.
Wait, so you say 40% hydro?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is indeed, yes. And we do need a lot of investment in energy, in power generation, also telcos, IT, information communication technology. We need a lot of investment. I mean, these big companies, based out in the United States, Siemens is doing business in Pakistan, AT&T is doing business in Pakistan, Microsoft is doing a lot of business in Pakistan, Intel is doing a lot of business in Pakistan. There's a lot going on in Pakistan. Now, the only thing is, I actually do not blame the media entirely as well, because it's such a large country. Over here, mostly the crime that gets reported that somebody has got shot and there's an accident on that highway, or there is this or there's that, and police is investigating. In a country like Pakistan, because of the open border regime with Afghanistan, all this has got to do with, historically, with the U.S. policy with Afghanistan. This has been going on for the last 20 years since Cold War. Mm-hmm. Pakistan has got nothing to do with it. We are just trying to fight our own evil. It will take time. And we, as Pakistanis, I think the credit goes to all the Pakistanis in Pakistan, that with the happy faces, every morning we wake up, we are very resilient, we don't risk our lives, we go and we are building businesses, we are building opportunities, we are creating jobs over there, opening up schools, colleges, university. Yet again, we are excited to be part of initiatives by Pittsburgh. We take things back, we bring things forward, and it's such a large country that at times there are there are certain bad incidents, which, in my opinion, should not be reported out of context. They should be reported from within the scope in which they belong to. They should not be reported to a context in which that the travel advisory should be issued not to travel to Pakistan.
Well, that's my exact point. I'm not saying that the press should sugarcoat it and say there are no troubles and that there are no natural disasters, that there are no crimes or any of these things. Of course. But always it should be, I think, put into the context so that the people that are listening see a balanced view. And look, as I said, I've traveled to very many places. When I talk to people about them, I don't sugarcoat them. If they have problems, I happily bring up those problems, but I'm careful to bring them up in context of the overall opportunity so that they aren't overstated. Faisal, let's change gears for a moment and say that some of the people that are listening, and we've got entrepreneurs that listen in all 50 states. In fact, there are people listening internationally. Some of them have been hearing your story and say, this is pretty fascinating. Maybe Pakistan is a little different than I thought, different than what I've seen on the news, and based on the kinds of opportunities that Faisal was describing, I maybe want to get a start there. I'm curious. What would you say are the first steps that an entrepreneur should take if they want to think about starting to do business in Pakistan? Because at the end of the day, what I hope the outcome of my work on this show is that the people listening aren't just fascinated and curious, but that they actually do it. So I would love for some of the people listening right now to take the initiative and go to Pakistan and give it a try. What would you say are the initial things they should do before they go and when they get there to have a good positive start?
Well, some of the things to begin with. The Pakistani embassy here at Washington D.C. They have consulates all across the United States, and it's very easy to get a visa to travel to travel to Pakistan. Now, to begin with, it's the first thing that they need to do is they need to understand Pakistan. They must visit. Pakistan. We do have e-governance. Our electronic system, databases, all the ministries, the government authorities, and the divisions and the offices. They're all online. They must Google the Pakistani offices. There is a board of investment, and there's a privatization commission, and there's an official website of the government of Pakistan. So the official website of the government in Pakistan puts together all the industries, the opportunities, the business sectors, the ministries, the government functionaries, how the federation works, how many provinces are there, who heads the province, how does the constitution work, the judiciary, the media, the civil society, the demographics, and the geography. So to understand Pakistan to begin with. Once they've done so, what they need to do is they must establish the local contact, and if they don't, they can just come through to the local embassy as well, and they are providing, there's Pakistan-U.S. Business Council as well, there are Pakistani-American expatriates, and there's tons of work going on, especially for the last couple of years, the strategic relationship between the United States and Pakistan, and for very recently, there's been a bill approved by Senator Kerry, Berman, and Lugar. It's called the Kerry-Lugar-Berman bill. It is for $7.5 billion US for economic aid for military and non-military assistance to Pakistan in the field of energy, education, health, infrastructure, and services. So there's a lot an entrepreneur can do and benefit from. For example, a couple of years ago, a young Pakistani entrepreneur came to the United States, and there's an organization called the Princeton Review. Because if you check the SAT scores on the College Board's websites and the other SAT websites, some of the brightest scores are from the Pakistani students. So the entrepreneur came to the United States, and they brought back the Princeton Review. So the Princeton Review, you must have heard here in U.S., has now got offices in Pakistan. So the Princeton Review prepares students for SATs, for GMAT, GRE scores, so that the students do get these scholastic aptitude testing, which could benefit them with their applications and admissions in the United States as well. And then Nike has a huge presence in Pakistan. There are stores, there are Walmarts, there are cash and carries, the telecom infrastructure, the services infrastructure, even in education. The public education system is not as vibrant, as dynamic as the private education system. So the private schooling market is worth $1 billion in Pakistan, and there are a lot of people mushrooming in the field of education, and they just try to make sure that there's quality teaching and quality learning taking place, which is much better than as compared to any rural and underprivileged school. So there are tons of opportunity. The very first steps they need to do is to read about Pakistan, to go onto the websites. Each and every information is online. Each and every email number, address, contact number, website. There are honorary council journals of Pakistan here in the United States. Almost in every state here in USA, there's an honorary investment advisor. It's listed on the Board of Investment of Pakistan's website. So if you are in the state of Pennsylvania, there must be a representative, and there's a telephone number and an email address. You can get in touch with them. So Pakistan is no rocket science. It's just down the road. There's a Qatar Airline direct flight via Doha to Pakistan. There are Emirates, Pakistan International Airline flies to New York, to Canada, to DC, to Houston, to Boston. And Pakistan is very approachable. Pakistan is culturally very diverse. We've got Indus civilization. We've got beachfront. We've got seas. We've got mountains. And we've got a lot of cultural richness, and we are very rich in our food, in our cuisine, and in our lifestyles, and in our family values.
We've been talking with Faisal Mushtaq, director and partner of the Roots School System in Pakistan. You can check them out by going to rootsschool.edu.pk. And he's here under the auspices of the Pittsburgh Middle East Institute, an organization that's a nonprofit consortium of prominent civic institutions and corporations in Pittsburgh with the mission of promoting business, education, and cultural ties between Pittsburgh and the countries of the Middle East. You can find out more about those folks at www.pittsburghmiddleeastinstitute.org. Faisal, it's been a fantastic hour. I believe that our audience has been educated and enlightened. I think that you're an excellent spokesperson for your country, and your enthusiasm is infectious. We've just got about a couple minutes before we have to wrap up. What's next for you and the Roots School System? What's the next step, and what can we look forward to hearing about the next time that you're back in Pittsburgh? Because we'd love to have you back on the show.
Now, the kind of vision that we have at the Roots School System and at the board is that we want to scale our educational services in each and every town and city across Pakistan, in all major cities. For that, we envision to reach at least 20 more cities over the next 5 years, so that the local community and the students, they have access to quality, affordable education system with a modern curriculum and with a relevant and applied assessment and an examination structure. That is what we envision for the major cities in Pakistan. But then again, the real challenge and the real problem of education, of literacy, is in the rural, is in the community areas, and in the underprivileged communities.
Yeah.
And for that, we as the family, we have set up a non-profit, like the way you have Section 501, we have Section 42.
Mm-hmm.
It's a non-for-profit community and educational development organization. It's called Change in Education. Through Change in Education, the C stands for supporting the schools with curriculum. It stands for help through training and education. A stands for assessment and examination improvement. N stands for nutrition. G stands for gender equality. And E stands for education for all. So the vision is that the type of learnings and the collateral and the standards that we have achieved by being an authority in the private education system, we must scale them for the benefit of the government and the public education system. So we are promoting public-private partnership in our own capacity for no financial, for no profitable reason, so that we can take up our education and our schooling model for the benefit of our teachers, of our students, of our local communities, in underprivileged areas, in villages, in rural settings, where there's no access to quality education and they've got issues to do with teacher training and curriculum and so on and so forth. And this is where a lot of expatriates, Pakistanis, the Pakistani American community, and our friends from USA can help support this organization. It's called change.org.pk. So this is very much on our agenda, so that we can create by 2025 or by 2020, we can create or help at least sponsor a Pakistan which is literate, which is educated, which is enlightened. And I can assure you that if we can get Pakistan on lines of a knowledge economy and create that kind of literacy and education in our country, you'll be surprised to know that the world is only going to be talking about Pakistan for all the good reasons. And all the problems that we have today are all got to do with lack of education, with lack of literacy, extremism, poverty eradication, militancy, ethnic divide, negativity, every issue which we are seeing today and which United States of America is an equal victim has all got to do with education.
Well, Faisal, I can't imagine anybody better than you to take on the challenge, but unfortunately, my friend, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being a guest here on The American Entrepreneur. We wish you the best of luck, and next time you're in town, we'd love to have you back for an update.
David, thank you very much, and we look forward to having you in Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Faisal. I look forward to a visit.
Thank you.